What if a place could be many places at once? What if one location held layers of time, purpose, and presence, visible only to those who stop and truly look? When we speak of Adyar, we often refer to it as the headquarters of the Theosophical Society. But Adyar is more than an administrative center or a physical space. It is, in many ways, a multiverse, a convergence of worlds, traditions, and inner dimensions. It is a living organism that, while firmly maintaining its essence, is constantly changing and evolving.
Adyar is more than a location. It's a living crossroads where East and West meet, not only in history, but in spirit. Founded by pioneers like Blavatsky and Olcott, its legacy continues to evolve through each visitor who walks its paths and adds to its quiet, unfolding presence. The footsteps of the past echo alongside the silent movements of present day. Adyar has its own logic, rhythm, and atmosphere. It is not static, it does not stagnate. Instead, it interacts differently with each person who has the opportunity to visit it. To live, work, or even spend time in Adyar is a rare opportunity for inner transformation. For many members of the Theosophical Society, the name Adyar becomes familiar long before setting foot there. Through stories, readings, photos, or the words of fellow seekers. Over time, this distant place becomes a heartfelt aspiration.
Symbolically, Adyar is the home of all members of the Theosophical Society around the world, and it has been so since the beginning, as Colonel Olcott reminds us in his old diary leaves. Newcomers were enchanted by the house and the gardens, and especially by the homely atmosphere of the residence. I always try to give visiting members the impression that they were not my guests, but co-owners returning to their own home. HPB and I always followed that conduct.
In this way, a deep connection is formed with the TS headquarters, the home of the masters, as Annie Besant used to call it. Radha Bernier reminded us that after many years of searching, the founders found here the inner and psychic conditions suitable for a headquarters that would also serve as a spiritual center, from which the forces of the great beings could radiate outward, and from which higher influences would accompany every letter, word, book, and teaching spoken or written from Adyar. Thanks to a group of Indian friends who immediately resonated with the teachings brought by these two foreigners, they were led to the very place that today houses the main building of the Theosophical Society. When HPB and HSO visited what was then known as the Huddleston Gardens, she exclaimed, "Master wants this purchased."
For Olcott, Adyar felt like a kind of paradise. He says in his old diary leaves, "We knew we had found our future home. It seems like a fairy palace. Returning to Adyar was always an exquisite moment, and none of the faraway countries I traveled through ever seemed so pleasant and peaceful as Adyar. to Annie Besant, Adyar was simply the most homely place.
In Colonel Olcott's time, Adyar wasn't meant for students, only for the small team needed to manage the society's affairs. It was Annie Besant who changed that. She made it possible for students to come, study, and help with the work, expanding the estate from 27 to 258 acres in just 4 years, fulfilling the wish of her teacher, H.P. Blavatsky. At first, only a few members came from lodges abroad, but as theosophy spread, more and more people arrived to serve. Once proper accommodations were built, what had been a trickle became a steady stream of people.
To meet this growing need, some of Adyar's most iconic buildings were constructed, including the Leadbeater Chambers, the first concrete structure designed in India. Today, thanks to the vision of our current president, the Blavatsky Bungalow, the Chambers, the new quadrangle, and other key spaces have been beautifully restored, blending heritage and comfort, and ensuring that Adyar remains vibrant and welcoming for generations to come.
Adyar today is a living home and spiritual family for those who reside and work here. With visitors and volunteers from across India and around the world, it becomes a place of meetings and reunions of this life and perhaps others, where the path can be walked in shared communion.
It is also home to beings of all kingdoms, red trees, plants, animals, and insects living together in harmony. Here, the first object of the Theosophical Society, to form a nucleus of the universal brotherhood of humanity without distinction of race, creed, caste, or color, is felt across all levels of existence.
One sacred space within it is the Garden of Remembrance, originally consecrated by Annie Besant on 17th May 1917 as the future site of Suryashram, a temple for the Brothers of Service. The garden took on a different destiny. After Dr. Besant's passing in 1933, her ashes were put here, followed by those of C.W. Leadbeater the next year. On 20 September 1935, the site was formally dedicated to their memory during the Society's Diamond Jubilee as Garden of Remembrance.
To those who listen with deeper perception, Adyar still speaks. Its spaces offer not just beauty, but silence guidance, waiting patiently for us to pause, perceive, and receive. As C.W. Leadbeater said in its Inner Life series, there are usually many devas in Adyar. We have many great advantages here, where the masters come so often. There is an encouragement from these beings that some feel in one way and others in another. Glorious influences surround us, but their effect depends on our receptivity. Of all these, we can receive only what we are in a condition to receive, nothing more. For one wise enough to take advantage of it, a stay in Adyar is a rare opportunity, but what we make of that stay depends entirely on ourselves.
The Adyar campus is a historic site, a nature sanctuary, and a spiritual haven recognized by many not only in Chennai but all over the world. Ask a driver to take you to the Alam Aram, the great banyan tree, and they will know what you mean. This majestic tree has become a living symbol of Adyar's multiverse. Its aerial roots reach into many realms, sheltering and connecting, much like the Society's mission itself. Though its original trunk has vanished, the banyan continues to flourish through countless offshoots. A powerful image of life's persistence, transformation, and silent strength. In Indian tradition, it symbolizes eternal life with roots in the infinite and branches in the material world.
Adyar speaks through such metaphors. It is not only rich in history, but alive with nature and spirit. As a protected biosphere, it also carries an invisible charge, the presence of masters, sacred rituals, deep questions and aspirations.
Our international headquarters is one of the city's two major green lungs, as they are often called. Those fortunate enough to live here experience two worlds at once. One, outside the TS campus, which is filled with the noise, the smells, and intensity of 21st century urban life. And the other, once you enter the estate, offers a natural atmosphere that soothes the mind, eyes, and soul, encouraging inner reflection. It is a place where one feels to be in the world, but not of the world.
Just days after arriving in Madras, known today as Chennai, Colonel Olcott delivered his first public talk, a powerful message on the common foundation of all religions. In a land of immense spiritual diversity and during a time when traditional paths were under threat, his words resonated deeply. Rather than promote conversion, he sought to awaken in people a renewed connection to the heart of their own spiritual heritage, a vision closely aligned with the Society's second object.
And along those lines, to help preserve and share this legacy, Colonel Olcott founded the Adyar Library. Today, it holds more than 45,000 manuscripts, including rare works in ancient languages like Pali and Sanskrit. By 1967, the collection had grown so vast that a new building was added, establishing it as one of the world's major repositories of sacred texts. Under the guidance of the President, Mr. Tim Boyd, the Adyar Library and Research Center continues to evolve, embracing the digital innovations while honoring its ancient roots.
In the Society's main hall, a quiet circle speaks volumes. Sculptures and symbols representing 18 spiritual traditions creates a space where unity becomes palpable. Figures such as Krishna, Buddha, and Christ stand not as representatives of separate faiths, but as reminders of a shared human quest for truth. Each form, each gaze, echoes the same human journey for the eternal. To one side, a play commemorates the founding dates of national sections. To the other, a modest museum honors wisdom through images of Minerva and Saraswati. At the center stand the statues of H.P. Blavatsky and Colonel Olcott, co-founders of the Society. one of which tenderly holds some of Blavatsky's ashes, a quiet testimony to her continued presence.
It was in this very hall, in January 1925, Nicholas Roerich, the renowned Russian painter, unveiled the artwork and dedicated it to Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, offering it as the nucleus of a future Blavatsky Museum of Arts, which, and he said, "In this home of light, let me present this picture of the messenger, dedicated to Helena Petrovna Blavatsky as the nucleus of a future Blavatsky Museum of Arts, whose motto shall be, Beauty is the garment of truth."
A distinctive feature of theosophical approach at Adyar is the presence of places of worship built across the state, reflecting its universal and inclusive character. The Bharat Samaj Hindu Temple, the Temple of Light, completing its centenary this year, and that was inaugurated by the puja of Krishnamurti himself. A Buddhist temple, St. Michael and All Angels Liberal Catholic Church, a mosque built in 1937, a Comasonic temple built at the beginning of the 20th century, a Zoroastrian temple, and a Sikh temple. The temples of Adyar, along with study groups and gatherings, embody the society's second objective.
And adding to this quiet, timeless presence of the campus are the 5 granite trilithons, ancient temple gateways brought by Colonel Olcott in 1905 from old Chandragiri district, from the ruined temple, carved with scenes from Hindu mythology and weighing several tons each. They stand as living symbols of continuity, linking the sacred past with the evolving present.
From its beginning, Adyar has been also a place where spiritual vision and service to the world go hand in hand. Some centers date back to the society's founding. Others have grown in time. Early theosophists played an active role in Indians' cultural and social life, a legacy that continues today through education, social outreach, and the ever-present effort to bring spiritual wisdom into daily life.
Along these lines of service, the Social Welfare Center offers free daycare to around 100 children aged 3 to 5, while the Besant Memorial Animal Dispensary tirelessly rescues and rehabilitates injured and homeless animals, providing meaningful opportunities for volunteer work, especially in this post-pandemic time. Founded by Colonel Olcott in 1894, the Olcott Memorial School continues to offer free education to underprivileged children. Its newly constructed building was inaugurated during the last convention.
Vocational Training Center provides free diploma course to women to acquire skills in weaving, tailoring, embroidery, etc.
And on the field of education also, the Adyar Theosophical Academy, ATA, brings theosophical transformative education to life. Rooted in empathy, non-competition, and inner freedom, its approach fosters deep sensitivity and clear perception. It's worth recalling that Maria Montessori began her pioneering teaching and pedagogical work in Adyar, inspired to create a form of education that cultivates the soul to transform the world from within. The newly conceived Adyar Eco Development Project, AED, envisions Adyar as a center for deep learning, healing, research, and creation, honoring its natural and spiritual energy. Through educational programs, workshops, nature walks, and community engagement, AED aims to transform how we live with the earth. Its long-term goal: a clean, swimmable Adyar River and an ecological, vibrant catchment that nourishes the city.
Adyar also carries a legacy of artistic inspiration. The ongoing art restoration project revives its global collection, not just preserving works, but inviting new generations of artists to engage with Adyar as a space for living creativity. Apart from that, throughout the year, Adyar remains active with gatherings such as the international conventions, the School of the Wisdom, the South India Conference, Workers Training Camp, TOS Conference, the Adyar Library Seminars, each enriching the community through service and inquiry, where people get to meet other fellow Theosophists from all over the world. Apart from that, two newer initiatives are gaining wide attention, which is libraries as communities that features themed monthly book displays to deepen public engagement with the Adyar Library and Research Center, and Wisdom for Living themed talks, in which individuals from across the fields, from business to arts to ecology and science and spirituality, who share their thoughts and experiences, how they bring spiritual insight into everyday life.
And among all its variety, Adyar also hosts the Youth Lodge building, dedicated to the activities of the youngsters and known as the official headquarters of the World Federation of Young Theosophists. It is a vibrant space with immense potential for global youth and engagement. And beyond all this movement and service, Adyar remains something more. It is also a space of stillness, a place between worlds, where outer work is quietly held by inner silence. In its quiet halls and gardens, Adyar doesn't often offer answers. It offers openings and multiple possibilities. As Krishnamurti once said, truth is a pathless land, and somehow that pathlessness finds a home here.
To truly read, or rather understand Adyar, its hidden corners, its silent metaphors, we must draw on intuition and live the doctrine of the heart, that inner compass which helps us discern and listen to the voice of silence.
Adyar's quiet strength lies in humble service and unseen work. Each soul who passes and has passed through Adyar adds to its unique spiritual atmosphere, a flame of hope for the world. In this sense, Adyar is a multiverse, a center whose circumference is nowhere and whose center is everywhere, where we have a lodge, a center, a committed member. When we leave Theosophy from where we are, we bring somehow Adyar's center, essence, into our own hearts. Adyar, as Jinarajadasa used to say, lives and works for the world. Thrice blessed are those whose karma grants them the privilege and responsibility of coming to Adyar, and truly blessed if they receive what Adyar has to give. And as we celebrate 150 years of the Theosophical Society's foundation, let us remember together how Adyar remains a living symbol of its mission, a beacon of wisdom, unity, and service.